Hidden in your kitchen right now might be one of nature's most powerful mineral delivery systems. Scientists discovered this tiny green seed contains compounds so potent they trigger measurable changes in your cells within hours. Yet 99% of people consume them completely wrong, destroying every benefit. When consumed correctly at the optimal time, these activate your body's natural healing mechanisms in ways expensive supplements simply cannot match. Here's what most people don't know. The magnesium supplement industry is worth $2.8 billion globally, and it's built on a fundamental flaw. Research published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition found that common magnesium oxide supplements, the kind filling pharmacy shelves, deliver only 4% bioavailability. Your body literally flushes away 96 cents of every dollar you spend. Meanwhile, 68% of American adults are magnesium deficient according to data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, and that number climbs to 79% for adults over 60. The industry knows synthetic supplements underperform. They know food sources outperform by extraordinary margins. But admitting this would collapse their business model overnight. So, what happens when your body doesn't get enough magnesium? The cascade starts subtle, then becomes impossible to ignore. The silent deficiency destroying your health. Every 12 seconds, someone experiences a leg cramp severe enough to wake them from sleep. By age 50, you've lost approximately 30% of your cellular magnesium compared to your 20 seconds. By age 70, that number reaches 50%. Your body is literally running on empty, and you probably attribute the symptoms to normal aging. But researchers at the National Institutes of Health tracked 3,713 adults over 6 years and discovered something remarkable. Those with the lowest magnesium levels were 58% more likely to develop coronary artery calcification. Essentially, their arteries were turning to stone. Their risk of sudden cardiac death increased by 54%. These aren't minor correlations. These are life-threatening consequences of a deficiency most doctors never test for. Look at what magnesium deficiency triggers in your body. First, your muscles lose their ability to relax properly. You get cramps, twitches, that persistent tension in your neck and shoulders. Then, your nervous system becomes hyperexcitable. Anxiety spikes. You can't fall asleep, and when you finally do, you wake at 3 a.m. with your mind racing. Your heart rhythm becomes irregular, those scary moments when you feel it skip a beat or flutter in your chest. Your blood pressure creeps upward. Your bones start losing density because magnesium is required to activate vitamin D, which controls calcium absorption. Without adequate magnesium, calcium deposits in your soft tissues instead of your bones. Your kidneys form stones. Your arteries calcify, your insulin sensitivity drops, pushing you toward diabetes. This isn't speculation. This is documented in over 3,700 peer-reviewed studies published in the last decade alone. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Walk into any pharmacy and you'll find shelves packed with magnesium supplements, magnesium oxide, magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate. Prices range from $15 to $45 per bottle. Labels promise high absorption and chelated for bioavailability. The packaging looks scientific, professional, trustworthy. But when researchers at the University of Adelaide analyzed 28 different magnesium supplements, they found absorption rates ranging from 4% to 30%. The average was 16%. That means when you swallow a 400 milligrams magnesium supplement, your body actually absorbs maybe 64 milligrams if you're lucky. The rest passes straight through your digestive system, which is why these supplements cause diarrhea that's literally your body rejecting what it cannot use. The cost adds up fast. A quality magnesium glycinate supplement, considered one of the better absorbed forms, costs about $28 for a 90-day supply. That's $112 per year for partial absorption and questionable results. And here's what the supplement companies won't tell you. Isolated magnesium, even in chelated forms, lacks the synergistic compounds your body needs for optimal absorption and utilization. The $2 solution hiding in plain sight. So, what's the alternative? What food source delivers magnesium in a form your body actually recognizes and can use efficiently? Pumpkin seeds. Specifically, raw, organic pepitas, those flat, green seeds you've probably walked past 100 times at the grocery store. 1 ounce of raw pumpkin seeds, about 85 seeds, roughly a small handful, contains 168 milligrams of elemental magnesium. That's 40% of your daily requirement in a single serving. But here's what makes this extraordinary. Research published in BMC Medicine found that magnesium from whole food sources achieves 65% bioavailability. Your body absorbs almost twice as much compared to even the best supplements. Why? Because pumpkin seeds don't deliver isolated magnesium. They deliver it in a natural matrix with zinc, iron, manganese, copper, and amino acids that form organic chelates, nature's version of bioavailable. When your digestive system encounters this complex, it recognizes it. Your intestinal cells have receptors, specifically designed to transport these naturally chelated minerals. It's like the difference between trying to force a square peg through a round hole versus using the key that was designed for the lock. Let me show you the actual numbers from the research. Scientists at Tufts University conducted a randomized trial with 127 participants divided into 3 groups. Group 1 took 400 milligrams magnesium oxide supplements daily. Group 2 took magnesium glycinate supplements. Group 3 consumed 1 ounce of raw pumpkin seeds daily. After 8 weeks, they measured serum magnesium levels. The magnesium oxide group showed an average increase of 0.08 mg/dl, barely measurable. The glycinate group increased by 0.24 mg/dl, but the pumpkin seed group, their levels increased by 0.43 mg/dl. They nearly doubled the results of expensive supplements using a food that costs $2 for a week's supply. The researchers didn't stop there. They also measured secondary markers. C-reactive protein, a measure of systemic inflammation, dropped by 31% in the pumpkin seed group, but only 12% in the supplement groups. Sleep quality scores, measured using the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, improved by 38% for the food group versus 19% for supplements. Muscle cramp frequency decreased by 42% in the pumpkin seed group. These aren't marginal differences. These are results so dramatic they make synthetic supplements look obsolete. Why food source magnesium dominates supplements? Here's what happens at the cellular level when you consume pumpkin seeds versus swallowing a magnesium pill. When you chew raw pumpkin seeds, you're releasing magnesium in its natural chelated form bound to amino acids, particularly glycine and glutamine. Your stomach acid gently separates these compounds, but the magnesium remains loosely attached to the amino acids as it enters your small intestine. The cells lining your intestine have specific transport proteins called TRPM6 and TRPM7 channels. These channels recognize the amino acid magnesium complex and actively pull it across the intestinal wall into your bloodstream. But there's more happening simultaneously. Pumpkin seeds contain zinc at a 2-to-1 ratio with magnesium, the exact ratio your body prefers for optimal absorption of both minerals. They contain vitamin E, which protects the magnesium transport proteins from oxidative damage. They contain omega-3 fatty acids, which make your intestinal cell membranes more permeable and receptive. They contain phytosterols that regulate the expression of genes controlling mineral absorption. It's a symphony of synergy that took millions of years of evolution to perfect. Now contrast that with a magnesium oxide tablet. You swallow it. It hits your stomach acid and breaks apart into magnesium ions and oxide. The magnesium ions are electrically charged and repel each other. They're not bound to anything your intestinal cells recognize as food. Your TRPM channels barely activate. Most of the magnesium just sits in your intestinal fluid, creating osmotic pressure that pulls water into your colon. Hello, diarrhea. And then exits your body completely unused. Even magnesium glycinate, which is pre-bound to the amino acid glycine, doesn't come with the supporting cast of nutrients that enhance absorption. It's like hiring a talented actor, but giving them no supporting cast, no director, no script. They might do okay, but they're not going to deliver an Oscar-worthy performance. Let me tell you about Robert. He's 58, works construction in Milwaukee, and for 3 years he dealt with leg cramps so severe they'd wake him up gasping at 2 a.m. His calves would seize into knots that took 10 minutes to massage out. His doctor ran basic blood work, everything looked normal, and suggested magnesium supplements. Robert spent 6 months taking 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate every night. The cramps improved slightly, maybe 20%. He was still waking up twice a week in agony. Then his wife read about pumpkin seeds and bought a bag from Costco, $6.99 for 3 pounds. Robert started eating 1 ounce every evening while watching TV. Within 4 days, the cramps reduced in intensity. Within 2 weeks, they were gone. Completely gone. He's been doing this for 18 months now. Zero leg cramps, zero pharmaceutical interventions, zero expensive supplements. His cost? About $2 per week. What happens in your body hour by hour? So, what exactly happens when you consume an ounce of raw pumpkin seeds? Let's walk through the timeline. Within the first 30 minutes, as you chew the seeds, enzymes in your saliva begin breaking down the seed coat, releasing magnesium amino acid complexes. These compounds signal your stomach to prepare for nutrient absorption. It increases production of gastric acid and digestive enzymes. By 60 minutes, the partially digested seed matter reaches your small intestine. Your pancreas releases additional enzymes. The magnesium glycine and magnesium glutamine chelates contact the intestinal wall. Your TRPM6 channels activate and begin active transport. But here's something fascinating. The zinc from the seeds activates a gene called ZIP4, which increases the number of mineral transport proteins in your intestinal cells. You're literally building more absorption capacity in real time. Between 2 and 4 hours, peak absorption occurs. Magnesium levels in your bloodstream begin rising. The magnesium ions travel to your cells and begin displacing calcium from binding sites on your muscle fibers. Your muscles can now relax properly. If you consume the seeds in the evening, which I'll explain why you should in part 2, this coincides with your natural melatonin release, enhancing sleep quality. By 6 to 8 hours, the magnesium has distributed throughout your body. Your heart muscle cells are using it to regulate electrical conduction. This is why arrhythmias often resolve with proper magnesium status. Your brain cells are using it to regulate GABA receptors, which control anxiety and stress response. Your bone cells are using it to activate osteoblasts, the cells that build new bone tissue. Within 24 hours, you've achieved steady-state magnesium levels that your body can maintain and utilize. If you're deficient, and statistically, you probably are, it takes about 3 weeks of daily consumption to fully replenish your cellular magnesium stores. A study published in Nutrients Journal in 2022 tracked exactly this process using magnesium isotope tracers. Participants consumed magnesium-enriched foods, including pumpkin seeds, and researchers could track where the magnesium went in their bodies. After 3 weeks, intracellular magnesium levels in red blood cells increased by 43%. Magnesium in bone tissue increased by 28%. Urinary excretion of magnesium increased by only 12%, meaning the body was retaining and utilizing the magnesium rather than wasting it. Compare that to supplement studies where urinary excretion increases by 60–70%. Your body is literally dumping most of the supplements straight into the toilet. The mechanism is clear. The research is definitive. Whole food sources of magnesium, particularly pumpkin seeds, deliver superior results at a fraction of the cost. Now, here's where most people destroy every benefit these seeds offer. They buy roasted, salted pumpkin seeds from the gas station and wonder why nothing changes. Let me explain exactly why raw matters, how to prepare them properly, and when to consume them for maximum results. Raw versus roasted isn't just a preference, it's biochemistry. When pumpkin seeds are heated above 150 degrees Fahrenheit, several things happen. First, the delicate omega-3 fatty acids oxidize and become inflammatory instead of anti-inflammatory. Second, the heat denatures the amino acids that form natural chelates with magnesium, reducing bioavailability by approximately 30%. Third, roasting concentrates the phytic acid, a compound that binds minerals and prevents absorption. Research from the Journal of Food Science found that roasting pumpkin seeds at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes reduced their magnesium bioavailability from 65% to 41%. So step 1, buy raw, organic pumpkin seeds. You want the green pepitas, not the white seeds with shells. A 1 pound bag costs about $7, 9 at most grocery stores, and provides a month's supply. Store them in your refrigerator in an airtight container. The cool temperature prevents the oils from going rancid and preserves the magnesium amino acid complexes. Here's your daily protocol. Each evening, measure out 1 ounce, that's about 3 tablespoons or 1 small handful. You can eat them straight, but there's an optional soaking technique that increases absorption even further. Place your ounce of seeds in a small bowl and cover with filtered water. Add a pinch of sea salt. Let them soak for 4 to 6 hours, or overnight. The water activates enzymes that begin breaking down the phytic acid. The salt enhances this enzymatic activity. After soaking, drain the water and pat the seeds dry. Some people find soaked seeds too soft. That's fine. You can lightly dehydrate them in your oven at 115 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour, or just eat them fresh. The soaking step isn't mandatory, but studies show it can increase mineral absorption by an additional 15–20%. Now, timing matters more than most people realize. Your body's magnesium absorption peaks in the evening hours, between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. This coincides with your circadian rhythm. Your intestinal cells literally express more mineral transport proteins during these hours. A study published in Chronobiology International found that magnesium consumed in the evening achieved 23% higher serum levels compared to morning consumption of the same amount. There's a practical reason too. Magnesium activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. It promotes the production of GABA, your brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. Taking your magnesium in the evening naturally prepares your body for sleep. You'll fall asleep faster, sleep deeper, and wake feeling more restored. Here's exactly how I recommend consuming them. About an hour after dinner, sit down with your ounce of pumpkin seeds. Chew them thoroughly, don't just gulp them down. The mechanical breakdown during chewing is essential for releasing the nutrients. The longer you chew, the more surface area you create for digestive enzymes to work on. Aim for at least 20 chews per mouthful. You can mix them into things if you prefer. Sprinkle them on yogurt with berries. Blend them into a smoothie with banana and cocoa powder. Mix them into a bowl of oatmeal. Stir them into nut butter. The key is consistency, consuming them daily, not sporadically. Advanced optimization strategies. Once you've established the basic protocol, there are several ways to enhance results even further. First, pair your pumpkin seeds with vitamin D. Magnesium is required to activate vitamin D in your body, but vitamin D also enhances magnesium absorption. It's a reciprocal relationship. If you're taking a vitamin D3 supplement, take it with your evening pumpkin seeds. If you're not supplementing vitamin D, consider it. The combination is synergistic. Research from the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association found that combining adequate vitamin D with food source magnesium increased serum magnesium levels by 34% compared to magnesium alone. Second, avoid calcium supplements within 2 hours of consuming your pumpkin seeds. Calcium and magnesium compete for the same intestinal transport channels. If you flood your system with calcium, it blocks magnesium absorption. This is one reason why calcium-fortified foods and calcium supplements can actually worsen magnesium deficiency. Your body needs both minerals, but take them separately. Calcium in the morning, magnesium in the evening. Third, stay properly hydrated. Magnesium absorption requires adequate water. Your intestinal cells need fluid to create the electrochemical gradient that pulls minerals across the intestinal wall. Aim for at least 8 glasses of water throughout the day, with 1 glass consumed along with your pumpkin seeds. Fourth, consider adding a small amount of healthy fat with your seeds. While pumpkin seeds contain their own oils, adding extra fat, a few walnuts, a tablespoon of almond butter, half an avocado increases magnesium absorption by up to 15%. The mechanism involves the formation of micelles in your small intestine, which encapsulate the magnesium and carry it across the intestinal lining more efficiently. Fifth, if you're taking proton pump inhibitors like omeprazole for acid reflux, you need to be especially vigilant about magnesium intake. These medications reduce stomach acid, which impairs magnesium absorption from all sources. You might need to increase your pumpkin seed intake to 1.5 ounces daily to compensate. Let me tell you about Linda, a 5-year-old ICU nurse from Phoenix. She'd suffered from chronic migraines for 8 years, 2 or 3 debilitating headaches per week that forced her to leave work early and hide in a dark room. She'd tried everything. Triptans helped but made her feel awful. Botox injections provided minimal relief. Her neurologist suggested magnesium supplements. She took magnesium oxide for 3 months. Nothing changed. Then she switched to pumpkin seeds based on a recommendation from a nutritionist, 1 ounce every evening, soaked overnight, consumed with her vitamin D supplement. Within 2 weeks, her migraines dropped to once per week. After 6 weeks, she was down to 1 or 2 mild headaches per month, a 90% reduction. She's maintained this protocol for 2 years now. Her neurologist documented the change in her medical records and now recommends food source magnesium to other patients. The cost? Linda spends about $8 per month on pumpkin seeds. Her previous medication costs ran $200 per month, even with insurance. Your week-by-week transformation timeline. So, what should you actually expect as you implement this protocol? Let's walk through the realistic timeline based on clinical data and patient reports. Week 1 begins with subtle shifts most people barely notice. Your sleep might improve slightly, you fall asleep 5 minutes faster, wake up once instead of twice during the night. If you have muscle cramps, they might reduce in intensity but not disappear completely. You might notice your bowel movements become more regular. Some people report feeling slightly calmer, less reactive to stress. These changes are real but modest. Your body is beginning to absorb magnesium efficiently, but you're still replenishing depleted cellular stores. Week 2 is when things become noticeable. Your sleep quality takes a significant jump. You're sleeping through the night or waking only briefly. Morning grogginess diminishes, you wake, feeling more restored. If you exercise, you'll notice improved recovery. Your muscles don't feel as sore the day after a workout. Tension headaches start resolving. That tight feeling in your neck and shoulders begins releasing. If you track your blood pressure, you might see it drop 3 to 5 points. Some people report their anxiety levels decrease noticeably. Situations that previously triggered stress responses don't affect them as intensely. By week 3, you've achieved approximately 70% replenishment of your cellular magnesium stores, according to research using isotope tracking studies. This is when the cardiovascular benefits become measurable. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that participants consuming food source magnesium daily for 3 weeks showed a 4.2 mmHg reduction in systolic blood pressure and 2.8 mmHg reduction in diastolic pressure. Their heart rate variability improved by 18%, a marker of better stress, resilience, and autonomic nervous system balance. Week 3 is also when bone remodeling begins. Magnesium activates vitamin D, which signals your osteoblasts to build new bone tissue. While you won't feel this process, bone density scans show measurable improvements after 12 to 16 weeks of consistent magnesium optimization. Week 4 and beyond represents sustained optimization. Your muscle cramps should be completely resolved or reduced by at least 80%. Your energy levels stabilize, no more afternoon crashes. Your insulin sensitivity improves, which means better blood sugar control and reduced cravings for sweets. Research from Diabetes Care Journal found that adequate magnesium intake improved insulin sensitivity by 32% after 4 weeks in pre-diabetic adults. One interesting effect many people report around week 4, their tolerance for alcohol decreases. This isn't a negative, it's actually positive. Magnesium improves liver function and detoxification pathways, so your liver processes alcohol more efficiently. You feel the effects faster and recover better. But it also means you need less to feel the effects, which naturally reduces consumption. By 8 weeks, you've achieved full cellular repletion. At this point, you're maintaining rather than building. Your body is using the daily magnesium intake efficiently, and you're experiencing all the downstream benefits: better sleep, reduced inflammation, improved cardiovascular function, enhanced bone density, optimized nervous system function, and better stress resilience. A 2023 study from BMC Medicine tracked 247 participants who consumed 1 ounce of raw pumpkin seeds daily for 12 weeks. They measured multiple biomarkers at baseline and at study end. Here's what they found. Serum magnesium increased from an average of 1.89 mg DL to 2.31 mg. DL optimal range is 2 to 2.5. C-reactive protein decreased by 42%. HbA1c, a marker of long-term blood sugar control, decreased by 0.4 percentage points. Sleep quality scores improved by 51%. Most remarkably, 63% of participants discontinued at least one prescription medication during the study period under their doctor's supervision, typically blood pressure medications or sleep aids. Critical safety considerations. Before you rush out to buy pumpkin seeds, there are some important safety considerations you need to understand. If you have kidney disease, particularly if your glomerular filtration rate is below 30, you need to talk with your nephrologist before increasing magnesium intake from any source. Healthy kidneys easily excrete excess magnesium, but damaged kidneys cannot. Magnesium accumulation in people with severe kidney disease can cause dangerous cardiac arrhythmias and even cardiac arrest. This is serious. If you're on dialysis or have been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, stage 4 or 5, do not implement this protocol without medical supervision. If you're taking blood pressure medications, particularly ACE inhibitors or ARBs, magnesium can have additive effects. This is generally positive. It means your medication works better, and you might eventually need lower doses. But it also means you need to monitor your blood pressure carefully during the first month. Take readings twice daily. If your blood pressure drops below 110/70, or if you feel dizzy upon standing, consult your prescriber. They might need to adjust your medication dosage downward. For most people, 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds daily is perfectly safe and causes no digestive issues. But if you have a sensitive digestive system or conditions like IBS, start with half an ounce for the first week. The fiber content and the oils can cause loose stools in some individuals if introduced too quickly. If you experience any digestive discomfort, reduce the amount, let your system adapt, then gradually increase. Regarding pregnancy and breastfeeding, food amounts of magnesium from pumpkin seeds are considered safe. In fact, magnesium requirements increase during pregnancy, and many pregnant women are deficient. However, if you're pregnant or nursing, mention this protocol to your obstetrician at your next visit. They might want to run a serum magnesium test to ensure your levels are optimizing appropriately. One interaction worth mentioning. If you're taking bisphosphonate medications for osteoporosis, drugs like alendronate or risodronate, you should separate your pumpkin seed consumption from your medication by at least 2 hours. The magnesium can interfere with medication absorption. Allergies to pumpkin seeds are uncommon but do exist. If you've never consumed pumpkin seeds before, start with a small amount, just a teaspoon, and wait 24 hours to ensure you don't have an allergic reaction. True pumpkin seed allergy typically manifests as oral itching, hives, or digestive upset. The research foundation you can trust. Let me ground all of this in the actual science so you understand this isn't speculation or health guru mythology. The foundational research comes from a 2022 meta-analysis published in Nutrients that examined 40 studies involving over 15,000 participants. The researchers compared magnesium bioavailability from food sources versus synthetic supplements. Food sources achieved an average absorption rate of 65% versus 24% for supplements. When they isolated pumpkin seeds specifically, the absorption rate was even higher, 68%, due to the optimal amino acid profile and synergistic nutrient content. A 2021 randomized controlled trial in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed 183 participants with documented magnesium deficiency. They divided participants into 3 groups: magnesium oxide supplements, 400 milligrams daily; magnesium glycinate supplements, 400 milligrams daily; and 1 ounce of raw pumpkin seeds daily, providing approximately 168 milligrams magnesium. After 8 weeks, serum magnesium levels increased by 0.09 mg DL in the oxide group, 0.26 mg DL in the glycinate group, and 0.47 mg DL in the pumpkin seed group. Statistical significance was p is less than 0.001, meaning the results were highly unlikely to be due to chance. Research from the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry in 2023 examined the mechanisms. They used stable isotope tracers to track magnesium absorption from different sources in real time. When participants consumed pumpkin seeds, the magnesium amino acid complexes activated specific intestinal transport proteins, TRPM6/7 channels, at rates 3.2 times higher than synthetic supplements. The zinc content of the seeds upregulated ZIP4 gene expression by 187%, creating more mineral transport capacity. A particularly compelling study from BMC Medicine in 2024 examined cardiovascular outcomes. They tracked 3,847 adults over 4 years. Those who consumed seeds and nuts rich in magnesium, including pumpkin seeds, at least 5 times per week, had a 37% lower risk of developing hypertension, a 42% lower risk of cardiac arrhythmias, and a 28% lower risk of having a cardiac event compared to those who consume seeds less than once per week, even after adjusting for other dietary and lifestyle factors. The cost-effectiveness analysis is equally striking. Researchers at Johns Hopkins calculated that if just 30% of magnesium-deficient Americans switched from supplements to food sources like pumpkin seeds, it would save the healthcare system $1.8 billion annually in reduced cardiovascular events, fewer hospital admissions for arrhythmias, and decreased prescription medication costs. This isn't fringe science. This is peer-reviewed, reproduced, validated research from leading institutions. Your simple path forward. The transformation begins tonight with one simple decision. Walk into any grocery store and locate the bulk foods section or the baking aisle. Buy 1 pound of raw organic pumpkin seeds. It will cost you between $7 and $9. That one bag will last you 30 days. When you get home, transfer the seeds to a glass container with a tight lid. Put them in your refrigerator. Each evening, about an hour after dinner, measure out 1 ounce, roughly 3 tablespoons, or 1 small handful. If you want to optimize absorption, soak them in water with a pinch of salt for a few hours first. Then eat them slowly, chewing thoroughly while you read or watch something relaxing. Do this every single day, not 5 days a week. Not when you remember. Every day. Your body doesn't store large amounts of magnesium. You need consistent daily intake to maintain optimal levels. Within 2 weeks, pay attention to your sleep. Notice if you're falling asleep faster, sleeping deeper, waking less frequently. Notice if your muscles feel less tense. If you get leg cramps, track their frequency. If you have headaches, note whether they're changing in intensity or frequency. If you track blood pressure, measure it twice daily and watch for improvements. After 4 weeks, evaluate your results. Based on the clinical data, there's a 78% probability you'll experience measurable improvements in at least 3 areas: sleep quality, muscle tension, cardiovascular markers, or stress resilience. Your body possesses extraordinary healing capacity when you provide it with the tools it needs. Magnesium is one of those fundamental tools, a mineral so essential that it participates in over 300 enzymatic reactions that keep you alive and thriving. The science is unambiguous. The evidence is compelling. The choice is yours. For $2 per week and 5 minutes per day, you can optimize a critical biological system that affects everything from your heartbeat to your sleep to your bone density. No prescription required, no side effects, no pharmaceutical interventions. Just whole food nutrition in the form nature perfected over millions of years of evolution. Take that first step tonight.